Hey, welcome everybody to Battle Pirates Crib. We're going to talk about Bounty 16, the WrongThinker post, and whatever else. Oh, we only got one thumb down before the show started. Better than the four we had last week. So keep up the good work. I guess we lost a few viewers. I
I
can
don't
only
know,
blame
but
the one on George.
I
So
want I want the crystal ball so they know ahead of time, it's going to be a bad show, so they can dislike it. I'd love to see that crystal ball because I wouldn't be doing, a YouTube channel. I'd be going, hey, what's going to be the Powerball numbers? I mean, shit.
yeah, there we go. So let me go ahead and introduce everybody from left to right. Magic Mike,
Hello.
Father George.
Good evening, everybody. If anyone has a good connection for some AP, contact Hefe. For anybody with the FBI or Homeland that I got to start tuning in now, smash that thumbs up button for us. I'd appreciate it.
All good. And Padre Prince.
Just
Uh-oh.
dropping in to say Hail Kixeye.
There we go. El Kixai. And this is Hefe. And we'll eventually talk about Bounty. I'm going to go ahead and switch present over to the slides. And we can talk about our normal nonsense of, what's going on in the week. So let's go to the next slide, Mike.
Oh.
Bug fixes. Not sure what the first one is. World map objects are failing to display on the world map. Sounds like a lag issue that we run into all the time, but I'm not sure if that's something specific or not. Does anybody know?
Beats hell out of me.
Yep. SOS occurs when launching a fleet and then instantly repairing it while it still displays as docked. Yeah, I think that's been around, but I guess they fixed it.
I'm sure it's been happening a lot because people are trying to get all those resources, so they're coming in, dumping the resources, getting out on the map, leaving whatever's repairing in the dock, and when they hit the map, they'll do the instant repair and it crashes.
Yeah. Well, except for my I guess we'll key that in with the next one. Conquerors will revert to their original functionality of not being able to hit PVE. I'm assuming world map targets.
Boo.
Which I mean, I'm a little curious by the specificity of that. Um, World map targets is one thing. Does that include campaign targets?
I
I
believe
mean, if
so,
you
because
just said
that's
PVE targets, I wouldn't have any question about it.
yeah. I don't know. That's just. Eh. I'm not thrilled with that one. I don't know why that ever was a thing, but damn.
Well, it just seems like they should have provided a solution prior to pulling it off, to remove this capability. Just so in case everybody doesn't know, if you have a breacher, it has a cargo capacity of 40 million, while pretty much everything else has around 6 million, except for your Inferno Dragons, which sit there at 8. And if you're able to get to 500% on these, you're able to bring in a lot of resources in very little time. And this has become much more of an issue with the Outpost 11.5, some of the refactor stuff as far as getting things done. And it's, our resources haven't, our resource availability from the base, from the bottom end, like cargoes and whatnot, hasn't been updated in about, I don't know, about 7 years. But the cost of everything has continued to increase during that time period. So, they've talked about having short-term and long-term solutions to this. Supposedly the Conquerors being able to do this, and especially the Breacher. I don't. They act like it was an accident, but it sort of felt like a short-term solution to me. Anybody else?
I'm sure
Hello?
all the baby seals that I'm going to be hitting to, take resources from are going to be ecstatic. I'll happily lose some medals to load up on resources. So awesomeness.
Okay. And Padre, it sounded like you were also one that was because I know you were most upset about the FM targets with the Inferno Dragons and the change of the damage, but you're as I recall from close to a year ago or 10 months ago, your biggest or probably 8 months ago, whenever that happened, was your biggest problem is the FM targets, the 120s and whatnot, didn't put out enough cargo.
Oh no, yeah. Well, I mean, there have been intermittently there have been targets the FM doesn't know, but there have been targets where you could fill up pretty quickly, but they keep removing them from the map. It seems like res starvation, which is more of just an annoyance and a hindrance to just being able to do stuff in the game that's fun, is
Mhm.
is an intentional design in the game now almost. And I don't know why. You know, nobody likes doing anything that Kickside does, except for the base hitting. So why continue to make res an issue? You know,
It's
I
silly.
don't
It
get it.
really is. I mean, where we have what, three premium resources now? I mean, that's enough of a pain in the ass. There's no need to go back to, making resources like they were in, 2011. I mean, that's just dumb.
Yeah, there's too many things going on, and you know, if you have these, I mean, they haven't even updated the targets. I mean, an Elite 75, I forget what the numbers were, but to like upgrade a portal was, I don't know, you had to hit like 350 Elite 75s or something like that. It might be ruining the economy in somewhere to up that, but there's so much stuff that hasn't changed in 7 years. Another thing with the cargo is they
I
haven't
would
updated
love,
the uh, the 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 armor versus damage as far as VXP. They haven't updated that either. I
yeah,
mean,
I would,
that's
I would
that's so
love
ancient.
to hear what part of the economy is going to get, you know, in shambles if they even tripled what came out of the even if they put it times 10 what came out of the damn salvages. I want to know what part of the economy that's going to mess up. I really would like an explanation for that one because I don't buy that at all. Not for basic resources.
Yeah, yeah. And Cuttlefish is mentioning coastal raiding, which you might be on that list if you haven't changed your base in a while, George.
I am happily
But
on that list because then I find out where they're from and then I go and find all sorts of new bases to do it myself.
okay,
And they're usually upset because when they come in, they'll get all sorts of swag, but not Zynthium or whatever the fuck it's called.
yeah, yeah,
Zynthium,
Zynthium's
right?
right.
Yeah, Zynthium.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, I'm definitely on the list. Have at. Come on down.
okay. All right. The other thing that we learned, I think, last night on Discord, and it appears to have been an issue for quite a while, and any of these base damage calculators that you see out there now, I haven't updated the one that BP Professor put together for the most recent 11.5 update. But I'm not going to spend my time to do that because it appears that the armor plates for the last 3 or 4 months have counted towards your base bubble. Normally, what was going on, or prior, what was going on was that if you had a turret that had a base armor of whatever 2 million or whatever, and then you added plates onto it, those plates didn't count as part of your total base armor. So now those plates will count, and do count and have counted for some period of time. So
Um,
calculate
yeah,
what?
look, I'm not 100% on this one because the nexus of all of this was a ticket um that I got started. It was back in July. One of the guys in our alliance was having a problem with his bubble and wasn't matching what we were doing on the calculators.
Yep.
And
Hmm.
so he had sent in, I think it was like two tickets when he finally just like he couldn't get them to quite understand what was going on and sent it to me. And I started asking some questions and started doing some testing, and we had an issue. And The way my understanding was, I think he got an answer finally back from CS, was that the initial answer was that yes, armor was supposed to count this and that and da da. I'm like, no, whoever said that, I want to talk to him because it's never been like that. And they're like, no, it's always been like that. I'm like, no, it has not. There's a reason why the turrets don't take longer to repair when you have armor on it, because the armor doesn't count.
Yeah.
And we got into this. I mean, it was a week or two long thing, and my understanding was that they had corrected it because soon after, I think Padre, wasn't it like a week or two later, his bubble was working right?
Yeah, some had fixed or changed, and it was finally working again. It was a little bit of an
So
ordeal for him.
Okay. Well,
so it
CM Chris announced this on Discord last night, just so
right
we're
and
putting this out there.
right and the thing is that this conversation has started about last week again, because I was getting a lot of like mail going, hey, this is going on, da da da. So um I contacted Kix and was like, hey, can you pull that ticket? What's going on? Because I thought this was corrected. And one of the devs got back to me and said, no, it's something that was, that happened, back and da da da, and um, that's how it's supposed to be. I said, no, that's back then was my ticket, and that was corrected. He's like, no, it was an internal ticket. It wasn't a CS ticket. I said, no, it wasn't a CS ticket, because the CS ticket was for another player. And they went and looked, and they're like, oh yeah, it is your ticket. I said, okay, look, that was corrected. What's going on? When did this happen again? And they're insisting that it happened back in July. And I'm like, no, it was fixed. And at this point, I'm not sure what is going on. Right now, currently, it looks like armor is working, but not on everything. Someone tested putting a ton of armor on resource generators, and it didn't seem to work at all. So
Hmm.
I really would like some clarification and someone to actually get into this and find out, because it's an issue now.
Was it working on the labs or?
It worked on the turrets. It worked on the gates. I don't know if we tested the labs. I don't think that we did anything with the labs.
It worked, meaning that it was the armor plates were
Affecting,
counting or not
Yeah.
counting.
yeah, that they were affecting the bubbles.
Okay.
I don't think we did they may have done the labs when I wasn't on, but we did Origs, the fucking the one of the windmill ones. What the hell are those?
Well, I think all the research
Energy.
generators are going to be the
Yeah,
same.
yeah,
But
all
yeah.
Yeah.
the res gens.
The
I mean, it doesn't
the
work on wood
ResGen
though.
ones, yeah, they weren't affecting it. The turrets were, the portals were. I'm not sure about any of the other buildings.
Okay. So it sounds more like the defensive ones
It
were
sounds like
counting.
it sounds like it's fucked up, is what it sounds like.
Yeah. They need to straighten it out, and they should have made a direct announcement and at least make it consistent. And it sounds like it's not consistent. So I guess the word is be wary of your bubble pad. Don't use those calculators if you want to be sure. That might be a good guidance
No,
initially,
that'll
but
work. Just take all the armor off everything in your base,
there we go.
and then you can go from there.
And then send Padre your chords. It's all
Yeah,
good.
and send me your cords. I'll be
Yes. All
well.
right.
And I've noticed that my bubble pad is I bubble earlier than what the calculators really think that I should bubble, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I've got armor on my gate, so that's probably. But I mean, if you think about it in the grand scheme of things, when you look at, I don't know, let's just say all armor points, you got like what is that, billion armor points in the base, or
Mm-hmm.
900 million? Is that what it is? I can't
I
remember.
forget at this point. It's been a
Yeah.
while since I looked at that.
So I mean, you're only affecting it. You probably can get a percent or two by putting some armor on.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. You're not getting a huge amount at this point, but as
Every
we'll
little
see
bit
how the
helps.
tier 8 ship armors have changed, I'm not sure if that's going to happen with the tier 8 turret armors as well, or building armors, because that's where one of the big changes has come as far as the tier 8 armors. as opposed to, well, we'll get to that. Let's and we can discuss it again then. Let's move on, Mike. The December event starting tomorrow, and we're gonna have Bounty 16, ends December 24th, Christmas Eve, and then we have the Cramp Apocalypse, I guess is how to pronounce that. Begins December 27th, ends New Year's Eve. And this is how you're going to get your Eradicator flagship and who knows what else. No more information has come out. Where I, I would assume it's going to be skirmish related, but I'm not certain. So any thoughts on these two? And basically, then the following event, I just did December, but I think the following event is going to be a shortened VXP weekend, followed by the following week. So it'll be a delay in the raid by the next raid, which will allow us to get the Shrike. So I think the raid is not going to be the first week of the month, but the second week of the month. So.
Well, my thoughts on those two, I mean, they look a little bit lopsided because I don't know if it's the way that she's standing. I'm not sure.
It's
But they're
always a
pretty.
possibility.
They're definitely
Okay.
pretty.
Right.
Oh, you mean the other two things? Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. Yes.
Totally distracted. See, anyway. Merry Christmas, everybody. The Crampocalypse, I don't, you know, I'm on occasion, I don't mind them doing this because it's kind of like fun. It's different and it kind of injects like a little bit of different, like just vibe in the game. But every month is, yeah, no. Like I'm already weary of it. I really am, and it's not going to be half repair. It's probably going to be the same kind of pressure and timing and everything that a raid is, and the damage is probably going to be that raid type damage. I no, just no. And then
Well,
bounty,
yeah,
we're gonna get into bounty later, right? We can skip bounty because I like we can.
yeah. We're gonna get into
Yeah,
bounty
okay.
soon. Okay.
Because I was gonna say because there's plenty of stuff to talk about bounty.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
we're having weekly raids again. So yeah.
we've
What
always
were you saying,
told them,
Padre?
we've always tried to tell Kickside to value the player's time because a lot of, I mean, they've got a lot of employed people playing the game. They have jobs or whatever. As much as they're trying to cram into the month, I don't know if they feel like, oh, well, this will just be fun for everybody, but it's really just, if you're gone for a few days, you miss an event, you can miss some pretty critical tech. Especially depending on the player, I guess I'm speaking from my perspective. And from my perspective, if I miss a hole or something, that's kind of a big deal. Um,
Yeah,
it puts me at a disadvantage.
and this
Yeah.
whole
And they've given in these holiday events, they've given out critical stuff every time.
yeah, and one thing that I'm kind of really getting tired of seeing as well is, when the players, because we have Discord and they're interacting with the players and stuff. But what I'm seeing happen a lot is several players will start bringing up a subject. More players will start giving their opinions and their perspective on it, and the answers come back. Well, I just don't agree with that perspective, or I just don't see that the same way that you guys do. And here's the thing: kick size perspective doesn't fucking matter because they're not playing the game. If your customer base is telling you something and you go, "Well, I don't agree with you," that's not how you deal with customers. That is not good customer service. When your client base is telling you something, that's when you stop and listen and go, okay, why are we not seeing things in the same light? Why is the perspective different? Why? You've got to analyze that, not react with well, we just don't agree with that. That's
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
that's not good. That is a bad sign.
yeah, I mean, so they're listening to the machine learning and not using this as an input into the machine learning. So yeah. Uh, let's move on. See what we got, Mike. Okay. Oops, I forgot to change the title on this one, but it's battle reports. Um, these are things that were put in WrongThinker's post. I've he tried to teach people some new words and whatnot. but I cut it down to like 3 little topics. One is the battle reports, which basically allows you to um,
Analyze the damage that you
get
took.
more information than you would out of a battle log, and I think it's going to include both PVE and PvP. We're not certain at this point, but it's going to give you, you took damage type from this and that and whatnot, and provide more information for you to adjust your builds.
Yeah, it's essentially
Um,
an analysis of the battle and the damage that you took.
yeah. Which is if everybody's read it out there, it sounds, if you read through it, it sounds similar to what I produced or proposed 2 months ago. If you want to click one more time, Mike. Um, and at that point in time, George, you said you loved it for you, but you didn't think it was good for the player base. Um, we can go back one step, Mike, but the whole idea, it appears to be pretty similar, don't you think, George?
Yeah, it's close. And the reason why I was like, I'll love it because I love doing the numbers and stuff. The reason why I don't know that it's going to be all that great for the player base in general is, most of the players are already complaining that the game is too complex already. And, you know, while the info is good and it would be good to be able to analyze and see if you can adjust stuff, the flip side of that is I don't know that there's going to be much in the way of adjustment because the only way you're going to adjust on PvE stuff is if you borked your build because Kix is tuning to the the best builds. They see what builds are working and they've I mean 2 days into the raid they've killed fleets before. I mean, um,
Yeah, I
so
mean,
yeah,
it's
I like it. I love the idea. I do. This is probably the this might be the only thing that I liked out of that post, but um, and I would love it personally. I just don't know that the general player base would appreciate it like I would, because it adds that one more layer of complexity to everything. You know what I mean?
yeah, but it gives yeah, it does. I mean, I like it. The more information, because we also talked about the next week as far as like how do we get more information on a new raid cycle out to the players in a better way so they can build things right the first time. Uh,
Actually, I just thought of something. Mike, can you go up one slide? See, this to me right here, I love, right? But if
mhm,
they were to do this graphically, where they just have like, green, yellow, and red, and it would just show next to each damage type what you took, that might be a
mhm.
little bit easier to kind of,
Yeah, well, it depends how wide those. Yeah, I don't
yeah,
like
that's
that
true.
because
Well, it'll be a
depends
bar.
how
I mean,
wide.
I would
What
assume
those
it's a
bands
bar.
mean of red, yellow, and red. Um, red, yellow, and orange. It's whatever colors you want to use, but
Yeah, but I mean, it would just like everything else in the game. There would be a bar, so like about 50%, you'd know it would be 50%.
yeah, I would just prefer it so I know if I change one armor plate, I could tell which direction that's going. It still might be within that color range,
Right.
um, as opposed to having to make massive changes. So I don't
The
know. I
other
like the
thing,
numbers better.
yeah, well, the other thing is too is we're going by this. They might just come and turn around and just go, this is the number. This is how many hit points you took of damage. Like we don't even
Yeah.
know what it's looking
Well,
like.
if they go like that, it's going to be just ridiculous numbers. That's going to
Right.
be hard to really. You can't really
Exactly.
break that down for useful purposes. That'll be great
I
if you
mean,
go out
well,
and you're like, all right, let me shoot on you for 3 shots, and try and divide that, and then figure out exactly how much damage and make sure that everything's going like it
I mean,
should.
yeah, no matter no if it's any type of number, I don't mind. But like I said, I don't know that it's not, most of the players don't want to fuck around with numbers and
Well,
spreadsheets and
well,
shit. They want to play.
well, except for this allows the 15% of the player base that does to create something that the other percent can work with. So, I think the more information, the better, because the community can disseminate that information. It doesn't have to be dumbed down at this level. It can be dumbed down at other levels if that's what you're looking at. So, all right. Should we move on to the next? All right. This one's a little bit more.
I fucking hate this.
Yeah. So basically, we saw in the last raid cycle that we were getting resistances that were 100% on some builds, 99% on most builds for your flag, and they're gonna come up with some other system besides adding decimal places. That would be the easy way to go in my mind, is to add decimal places. But my understanding, the way this works, is they're going to, once you armor your ship, they're going to provide you a number that they then transform into a resistance that is somewhat static, but it's also based on the perceived level of the target that you're hitting. And I don't understand why some of it gets turned into hull armor and some gets converted into the rating system. This is it's he uses a lot of words. Not a lot of information can be gleaned out of them. And this
See,
is
I
something that we've seen before.
I read this in a different light, and the way that I read it makes me like shudder. This might actually get me to quit, honestly, because the way that this sounds is that they're going to convert some of the value from defense and into hull armor. That means that they're going to take, if they're going to do, it sounds like they're going to do another refactor, except it's going to be, they're going to take the percentages
Mm-hmm.
and convert it into actual hit points on the hull, which doesn't make
Yeah.
me happy. And
Mm.
then they're going to convert the percentile defenses. So what we see for defense now is going to go away, and they're going to give us a defense rating system. And that is absolute shit, because I tweak my builds to stupid levels on purpose because of those numbers. Like, I play with these, I do it all the time. Everyone in the game does it. And
Yeah,
to
yeah,
take
yeah.
those numbers away, to give us something that's definitive and give us something vague in its place is fucking shit.
Yeah, yeah. I don't like the vague part of it.
You mean you don't want to
Um,
have like a level 4 hull? You
well,
give a level 4
from
I
defensive.
mean, this, I do not like, I can't, no, this is not the game that I want to play.
yeah, well, I mean, at least from what I was able to determine, it's still going to be a numeric system. I mean, I was afraid they were going to give you, your defense rating system is an A+ versus a B-. That would have been bad too. So, but yeah, yeah, it seems like the easier way to do it is just to add more decimal places and explain to the player base that the difference, you're going to take twice as much damage at 99.0 as you would at 99.5.
Yeah,
You're
but
going to
that
take
doesn't,
twice as much damage
that's
between those
still,
two, and that's what people aren't understanding.
but still, it's the numbers are too high. And they knew this last year,
Mm-hmm.
that the trend was already going there. And there was kind of a plan tentatively in place back then that clearly is not being followed now. And I'm look, you're changing fundamental aspects of a game that we've played for 7 years. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you guys aren't Blizzard. It's not something that you're doing on the fly that we can actually put faith and trust in that you guys are going to come out with something that's balanced. That's not what we've seen in the past. That's not what we've seen, period. So yeah, no, this coupled with what's coming next, I'm really just, I have serious misgivings.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not.
Not a happy camper right now. I'm not.
Yeah, yeah. I don't like the fact that. Yeah, there's some things in here because I would just rather keep something, even if it's 99.0 versus 99.5, which is wrong. I admit they let the numbers run up way too high for most people to understand, especially with the significant digits that we see in the stat blocks.
Well,
but it's
it was
turning
actually.
into some sort of transform system is not good either. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh
Go ahead,
no.
bro.
Well, 2 points. I may forget one of them by the time I finish the first one. But 2 points. First, they had a system for this incorporated into Huggies. He would show you in parentheses how many hit points you got based on your
Hmm.
percentage of defense. So that was pretty useful seeing both, both aspects. You'd say, oh my gosh, look at this number. When I bring it up to this, it almost doubles it. So it was very clear to understand how your percentages were actually affecting the defense. Now I can't remember the second one.
Yeah, we
But
predicted that beforehand, so you were right on
yeah,
both points. One that you
well,
were going to forget it, and then the point that you already made. So yeah, aces on both of them.
yeah, I was like, hold on, I kind of forgot my first point when I started, but yeah, no, I mean the armor points were in there, and you didn't really have to worry about it. Oh, second was, I mean, they screwed themselves honestly by creating these 99 plus defense point, or defense ships, and now they've come out with these minimum damages that you take, like unavoidable damage, and that's how they're making their revenue. Um, so again, and we talked about that before, how it takes away the creativity of the player. It's sort of like, it doesn't matter how great your build is, you're still going to take at least this much damage from X build. You know what I mean? Because there's
Oh
certain
yeah, and
damages that you can't get away from, and that's because they've pigeonholed themselves in.
and if you build something that does kind of go outside of the expectation, they take care of that real quick.
Yeah, they'll fix it.
I'm still a
Yep.
little sour over the last raid set, but
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Um. Yeah. There's a lot of smoke. Okay. All right. Here's another thing that's been in the. Okay. We can say with Splash. All right. Splash hasn't been changed a huge amount since the beginning of the game.
I don't know that it has at all.
No, well, they've changed some of the trends in some of the stats, and
Right.
that's what I was going to describe.
But the
Uh,
mechanics have not.
no, the mechanics have not, but generally, if you have a splash weapon, you fire it, and it does purely splash damage. It doesn't do direct hit damage at all the way it currently works. And then there is a number that's either called minimum splash or called splash fall off, which shows the amount of damage that it takes at the edge of its perimeter, the splash perimeter. And we used to see way back in the day, we used to see numbers like 35%. So, the center you would take 100%, at the edge you would take 35%.
And it was
And this,
progressive from one to the other too.
yeah, we're assuming it was linear
It was.
between the 100% and
It
35.
it was.
Okay, okay, well,
Yeah.
um, but now the situation is like an example would be the needlers or the nailhead, where there's no fall off between the center point and the edge, um, which is what they did, and that's how they adjusted everything. And
But
that's what they wanted to do in order to make their targets work and the interaction work correctly, right?
yeah, and it doesn't. The thing is, if they're going to use that as the basis, I mean, that's such a. It's you can't use it in anything else, so it doesn't fucking matter.
Mhm. Yeah. And so well, yeah, we're gonna get into that. But splash damage reduction, this is gonna be. I don't even know how to explain it because this is gonna get tricky because, like I said earlier, there's if it's a splash damage weapon, it only does splash. So how are they going to decide that splash damage reduction works worse if you're closer to the source of the splash as opposed to further away? I guess they can make that work.
It's going to be an inverted equation to what the splash equation is. That's all it's going to be.
Yeah, and it's
Mechanically anyway. But the I have a problem with this whole fucking thing Because one, he starts off with splash damage doesn't act the way it should. Absolutely, it does. 100% it does. For the
Yeah,
last 7 years,
who says
it
the way it's
has.
supposed to work? Because it's the way it's worked. You know what I
It's
You
mean?
could just say it doesn't work the way I want it to.
Yeah.
That's what it
There you
is.
go.
This team does not like the way that it works. And now here's where I have again an issue. You're changing a fundamental, basic mechanic of the game that players, you guys have been around for a couple of fucking months. Hoop-de-doo, congratulations. We've been around for 7 years. You are literally changing shit that we've played for 7 years. A basic function. Like one of the first fucking functions that we've had. And it was a huge thing when combustion system came out because of the projectile speed, because then it allowed you to kind of play with rockets a little bit and play with the way you could outrun or not outrun mortars and stuff. And he's using that as an example of why they need to change it. And I'm like, no, that's exactly why you don't change it. That's how we've played it.
I'm assuming that they're looking at this from a PvP perspective, that they've seen some of the fleets that are out there, and combination of fleets that are allowing people to almost entirely negate the splash damage weapons. At least that's my
Adjust, do what other companies do and adjust what's broken then. Don't change a mechanic that everyone relies on. You've
they'll
already
probably
done
fuck that up.
dude, they've already refactored an entire side of the game and now they want to change more. There are people that quit before refactor even came out because they just didn't feel comfortable with it. And now they're changing not one, I mean, they're changing a bunch of fundamental stuff. And you know, splash damage reduction is it's a mathematical function. That's what it is. Really simple to do. What they're trying to do is go, hey, they're gonna make it sounds like they're gonna make splash instead of being a linear damage from center to the edge, they're gonna make it a zoned damage, which is just asinine, right? It's just that's not how you kind of think of it like a mortar goes off and there's shrapnel. You're gonna get shrapnel no matter which part of the where you are. If you're inside of that zone, you're getting hit with something. And at the edge, you're going to get hit with less. In the middle, you're going to get hit with more. That's how splash fucking works, right? Same with rockets. I mean, these are mortars and rockets that we're talking about. To change it to like zone type of that's no, I don't like it. And then the changing the splash damage reduction, the problem I have with that on top of just the mechanic changing and the way it's going to interact with splash in and of itself, that's going to affect our PvE builds. And I have a feeling that that's what they really were looking at because that whole thing with like hypo 30s and stuff, I mean, I just no, that like again, this is kind of crap that's coming out that I mean, I love the game. I'm addicted to this game. This shit's going to make me quit. It really is because it's changing all the basic fundamental mechanics now. Instead of it's not just changing the way certain things interact, they're changing the basics of the game. So you're essentially trying to rewrite the game 7 years into the game. And that's not, that's not Battle Pirates then. You're changing the game. Crickets? Really?
Well, no, I just they're maybe trying to be a bit too bold. And I get what you're saying. They're trying to change too much with a limited understanding of the game. Because when it comes down to it, you're right. These people haven't been there that long, and
Yeah.
in doing so and in saying so, they don't know what's best. So they maybe have a different opinion, but if their opinion doesn't coincide with the people that have been here for the longest and that are playing the game, the majority of your customer base, then you've got a big issue.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, my thought would be we saw a point in time where the game worked. Let's strip it back to that and then build from there, as opposed to adding on crap that got added by different people you know, along the way that didn't work. And so they're trying to correct stuff as opposed to strip stuff away and start new.
I mean, I
Alrighty.
just I just know and everyone I've talked to, and I'm not sure why. I don't know if people are just they've given up. I don't know if I don't know what it is, but there's a lot of people that are upset over this, but they're not saying anything anywhere. And if you guys are watching this and you don't agree with this crap, go post something. And I'd post it on the forums, I'd post it on Discord, post it on the pages. I don't get just post it so they see the feedback, because if they don't feel pushback, I don't think they're going to even bat an eye about doing this. I yeah, I don't know. I'm 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 not a happy pirate right now. I don't know if I'm going to
Yeah.
be a pirate much longer. Is the problem? I think.
So yeah, we'll see. I mean, the only way I think they can. There's a later post that I couldn't post all of it. That this is mainly going to take place in PVE, and there's no way that they can retroactively change the older targets. So they're going to only be able to change the newer targets. Because if you change the splash in this last raid cycle for skirmish, uh, that's way too much work for them to rework all those targets to make this work. So, and I don't know. We don't have enough details here, which is par
What
for
they're
the
gonna
course with
what they're gonna
these.
do is they're gonna rewrite a function for splash, and they're just gonna replace the call to in the code to that new function instead of the old function. I mean, that's not going to be a problem. It's going to change everything, but that's not even a concern of mine. My concern is the fact that they're changing splash at all. That they shouldn't touch it. If they have a problem with the fucking Hyper 30 or warplating or whatever, do what other gaming companies do and correct that. Not this. And then I think somewhere else in the post he was like, "Oh, you shouldn't. It's not going to require anybody to refit or anything like that." And I'm like, "Hold on, that's what fucking was said about refactor, and I had to refit everything. So I'm not believing that one either."
Yeah, and then the countermeasure change, which nobody asked for, didn't have any warts to it either. So yeah, this could be worse than the countermeasure thing. So. But let's move on. We haven't even got to bounty. Everybody's excited about bounty 16. And at bounty 17 is going to be hard to find, but we have a sneak preview on bounty 17 at the end of the show, just so you all know. Provided by Kixeye.
I
I
hope
don't
it's
think
not a
the art.
three-legged chick.
Well, we'll see. But yeah, provided by Kixeye, but not by the. I don't think by the art department. So let's go on and see some details of the changes to Bounty 17. 50% of all bounty earned is automatically secured, meaning everything that you bring in is now secured bounty as opposed to unsecured bounties. So if you earn 1,000, 500 is secured, 500 is secured, 500 is unsecured.
You're gonna hate me.
Manual banking has been removed.
Can I interrupt? Because you're gonna hate me for this, but I actually just thought of something. Mike, can you go back one slide for a second? Because, well, two slides actually. I want to go back to this if I just for
On
one.
toilet paper.
No, no, yeah,
Go back
just
to
for one thing.
That would have been
Um,
fascinating.
because me, you, and Padre will play with numbers and stuff, and we kind of get into it. Mike, I want to know what your opinion of this is, because you don't get into the number stuff. You just kind of like playing, right? What's
Right.
your take on this?
I don't understand it. I can read it, see what it says, but I don't really know what that's going to mean to me.
So he hasn't communicated this clear enough for an average player to actually understand what the hell the implications are going to be.
Yeah, but the caveat would be if he didn't totally understand it before, he could say whatever he wants and still wouldn't understand it.
Okay.
I think that's your larger player base.
Right.
And that's part of the thing too, is like, I want to know what, because like I said earlier, a lot of players don't really give a shit about the numbers. They just want to come and play.
Yeah.
And I really want to know. Yeah, well, I guess we can talk about it after the show's over, because I kind of want to take. I'm going to start
Mike,
polling a lot of people.
I can put in one opinion, I guess, and some of it's from the glowing nav targets with the cheese balls.
Mhm.
And I've put in tickets before because I've taken significant damage when my ship was a half an inch away from the circle that the cheese ball made. So I don't know what that means to you or to anybody else, but to me it seems like I should have been well out of the way. And if that means that if this change is going to make that either more aggressive or less, I guess I don't know until that time comes. But
Okay.
But
And
it's one of the reasons you come to shows like this, or talk to
right.
people, or read whatever, in order to get a translator, so to speak.
100% correct.
Right.
That's right.
So anyone that's watching that doesn't play with numbers, okay? Because I can't answer everybody, but if you guys could send me your opinions of the last 3 slides here, particularly if you don't play with the numbers, if it's something that you don't actually get into, and just send me your opinion. I want to see what people think of what has been said for this part, because I do want to try and get a whole bunch of feedback too. Because I'm really upset myself personally, and I think part of the reason why I'm so upset is because I actually do understand the numbers and the coding and all that other crap. So it's going to give me a little bit of perspective, and it's going to give me a starting point for hopefully a discussion soon, because I'm very concerned, but I would love to hear some feedback. Like I said, I can't respond to everybody, but I'd love to. I'll read every bit of it. So find me on Facebook, send me messages, send some to Hefe too if you need to. We'd like to get some feedback on this because, yeah, ouch. All right, now we can jump up to Bounty. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It just
Yeah.
struck me because I saw Mike there and I was like, I didn't hear anything that he
I was
like.
so
He's
looking, I was
exactly.
so looking forward to a paper towel discussion, but yeah. Let's see. 50% of all bounty earned is automatically secured, which is a new thing. It means, like I said earlier, if you get 1,000 bounty, 500 is going to be secured, 500 is going to be unsecured. Previously, that was all going to be unsecured until you reach a manual lock or something else. You reach a point threshold or something of that nature.
Yeah,
But
this
manual
stinks.
banking has been removed from this bounty. And again, like they say, it doesn't impact the 50% keep rule that you can, if you own unsecured bounty in your base, they can only take 50% at a time. But these are two different things. 50% earned versus 50% owned are two distinct things. 50% earned is automatically secured, which means they can never steal it. 50% owned, they can steal it every time your bounty, your bubble drops. So these are two distinct things. Just want to make sure everybody
So basically,
follows
they
that.
could take 25%.
No, no. Well, they can take.
Well, yeah, it's
Yes, yeah,
25% of what
they
you
can
get.
take
Yeah.
25.
Yeah.
Like if you had 1,000, they can take 25% of that. But the 500 is put away in bonds and whatnot. That can't be touched. Then the other 50%, they can steal half of that every time your bubble drops.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to put it in perspective, if you go out and you farm a map target for 100 bounty, 50 of it's going to get put away automatically, and then the other 50 is going to be in your base as unsecured, so you can lose 25 of it. So for every 100 that you acquire, you can lose 25 out of each one. So it's,
No. Per bubble drop, and your bubble's going to drop at the maximum every 4 hours. So if you sleep, you could have, your 100, your unsecured bounty. The first 4 hours, you're down to 50%. The next 4 hours, you're down to 25%.
no,
If
you're
you
not.
sleep anymore, you're down to 12.5
No, you're
of
not.
the
No, you're
unsecured.
not. No, you're not. No, you're
Unsecured
not.
bounty.
No, you're not, because the automatic repairing is not going on in this bounty.
Oh, they didn't tell
If you're
us that.
flat,
There'll be
if
dead
you're
bases.
flat, you're flat. They
So
said
you,
that.
so you have
mention
to
that.
log on to get repairs to start again.
Yes,
Okay,
you have to
so
log on to start
all your
repairs again.
all your
So you could get hit
shipyards.
twice. You could get hit twice because if you log on
Or
and you
could
start
leave a-
repairing and someone catches you, then you're going to get
Or
whacked.
somebody
But
could leave like a warehouse or something.
or what we used to do is leave an oil rig or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's even worse. I mean, because now the players that might want to participate are now like, okay, now my shipyard builds are going to get interrupted. Everything else that they're doing for PVE now going to get interrupted. This is a worse situation than what I was describing. Yeah, this is not good.
I don't know if it's worse. I mean,
I
it's
think it's worse for the PVE players. It's worse that you're losing all that time. Yeah, they made no mention anywhere that there was not going to be that they removed the automatic repair. So yeah, that's that in my mind that makes it worse.
no. It says right there, dock repairs are reduced by 50% during bounty, so you can actually get your dock repaired quicker. And then where is
okay.
it?
That doesn't mean anything.
I think it was in Discord. Hold on, I'm trying to find it.
Shipyard is what would matter most to me.
Yeah. Because if you're building your eradicators,
Yeah,
and now they're going to be shut down continuously because you're not automatically repairing. That's a big deal. Because now you're going to basically get 4 days of lost build time on your PvE hulls. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and so they're going to give you more bounty to opt in, like 1,600, so that you're going to get hit right away, and you'll have the original 800 that you used to have before. In theory.
say that one more time.
That's if it. You know what? Now I'm not sure if I saw that as a question or if it was something that he had said because I'm trying to find it in Discord and I can't. I hate Discord because you can't search like you can on the forums. This pisses me off.
Initial seed amounts are higher, meaning you get more points just for opting in.
Right.
So if you opt in now, they'll give you 1,600 because it used to be 800. So if you get hit right away and lose half of it, you'll still be where you were before.
So if
I
I've
think it's
got
1200
22 alt bases, that should work pretty well.
Yeah, I think it's 1200. We'll get to that. I don't think it's 1600.
Okay, well, it was just a scenario I was trying to paint here.
Yeah, but it's not. That's not my issue with this. My issue, there's no manual bank, and you actually have to, because half of anything you bring into your base is now considered secure bounty. To get your 10,000 10,000K or 10K bank, you need to have 10K unsecured. And so that's when it locks. So now you need to get 20K in order to lock, not 10K anymore.
That's significantly more difficult than before.
Yeah, it's a whole different thing. And so now you need to get 20K, and that's I mean, it's I don't personally I'm frustrated with this because my issue is there's never a time unless you can easily get to that 10K, which is a 20K point. There's no point where you can put the game down and say, okay, I'm done for the night, or I'm going to go hit one of the 4 TLCs or the FM and not have to worry about a highly increased chance that somebody is going to come hit me. They got rid of the manual banks completely. I could have seen a situation where they reduced them, but eliminating them completely that's the part that it doesn't sit well with me personally. I mean, everybody's like, oh, it's a PvP thing. Well, it's a PvE thing as long as all the bounty is generated from the bottom up. All of it's generated through PvE. And that's it's going to be interesting to see who actually participates. If none of the PvE players participate, it's going to be a sad bounty because, all those players are like, oh, I'm going to go out and hit bases. I'm like, well, those bases ain't worth crap because there's nobody out there hitting shit. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in my mind.
Okay, so
I'm not happy with this change.
hang on, I'm getting confirmation right. Hold on a second. So it was, so what I had seen before was a discussion about it, because they were going to look into it. So they have not changed the auto repair for this bounty. So right now the auto repair for the dock is going to be on, so it will auto repair. So
Ooh.
your original one is going to be correct. Every 4 hours you're going to get whacked.
Yep.
No sleep till Brooklyn, I believe.
Yep. There we go. Little Beastie Boys. So
Yep. Sorry about that, guys. I misremembered what I had read. My bad. That's totally my fault. I'm sorry.
okay. All right. The amount of nexus per world has been reduced to 3. So what's the SDS7 plan? Just take all 3 in one world, or
That's exactly the plan.
Yeah.
okay. All
When
right.
have we ever?
Well, sometimes I saw there was an extra one sitting out there. I wasn't taking it because there's only like 2 people in my alliance.
On
Well, 3,
prime
2
numbered
more.
bounties, we give up 1. That's the rule.
Okay. All right. So, all right. This is
Oh
sort
my
of like
god.
giving one up for Lent or something like that.
Like that.
Okay. All right. Okay.
We're giving back to the community. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to believe comms, we actually dictate to Kixeye how to run the game. So, we're giving back to the community at that point, I guess. I don't know.
I was just fair. And which world is this going to be in?
I have no idea yet.
All of them.
Oh no, I was asking Pod.
We're taking 2 worlds this time.
Oh really?
Oh,
Which 2?
man.
Which 2?
Which 2? I don't know, man.
Okay, just checking.
We're
If
gonna
you want to
see.
talk
We're gonna
trash
see where
now.
everybody lands.
Okay, all right. If you want to talk trash now, I was giving you an opportunity.
Oh no.
Okay.
I like the surprise factor. I
Yeah.
think that's more fun for everyone. Because
Okay.
I used to get a lot of messages, honestly, before Bounty, like, hey, from other leaders and players, like, hey, Padre, where's SDF7 going to do Bounty? And I'd be like, I don't know yet.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
want to be there.
All right. Let's Mike, let's go to the next slide. All right, this is the bounty drop increase. This is the highest level where you basically start off at 800 and you go to 1200 and you can see the maximum deflections that you gain. The keep percentage always remains the same. And this is the top price on the right-hand side.
That's not even that much deflection, is it?
Not really, no.
No.
It's a big decrease from what we saw before when it was resistance based.
Before, you could kind of rely on, okay, my OP's not getting touched,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna have to spend 2 minutes killing my OP, so if I've got any kind of a reasonable defense that takes your time, you're not getting the OP.
Yeah. This is not, this isn't as big of a help as it used to be.
I don't even know if it's worth the resources, honestly.
Well, you get because you do get a larger drop,
interval.
but for you that doesn't matter. The 200 drop every 4 times a day, 800 a day. If you're going to be playing in those waters, that doesn't matter. So, right. Let's see the next one, Mike. All right. Here's the distortion launcher. 20,000 points. You have a limit of 8. This is the first tier 8 turret.
If it embodied disarray itself, wouldn't the barrels be pointing like every which way chaotically?
They curve back in on
I mean, I'm just saying that,
Yeah, well, that's the spread debuff. It has a spread debuff of plus 5% per hit with 150% max. And then it has like the oil slick function with a little bit of a boost to it below. That's based on a fire field with a 5% chance. As far as I can tell, this is not going to scratch any breachers unless they're built really badly, unless we get a new special out there. Has anybody seen anything different on this one than I have?
I honestly haven't even looked.
Spread debuff. I'm trying to think what that's going to be useful for. Probably something we don't have yet.
Well, yeah, like the
That
yeah,
depends if splash gets changed.
yeah, it's going to increase your spread, and so therefore you're not going to be doing as much concentrated damage.
What's
So my
combat speed 200%?
That's
I
it's
oil,
thought
two
I
oil
200%
slick.
asked that, but I
plus.
thought it would be wrong to go.
It's the oil slick thing.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
oil slick. Oil slick was 150 combat speed and negative 150 turn speed. This is just a little bit more extreme.
I'm not putting
So
this in my
basically,
base.
they
I'll tell
speed
you
you
right
up
now.
and drive you into either a turret or a wall or whatnot.
I am not. I'm going to love this because idiots are going to put it in their base and I'm just going to slide right by their guard.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
see, here's the thing. A
Well,
few
okay,
a
go
few
ahead.
months ago, I in my base I took advantage of some of the mechanics of the oil slick, and had a whole lot of people send in tickets because their witch doctors were getting stuck in a certain part. I can definitely see this being used, but very specifically in a base.
With other
With
huge
there were a
bombs.
couple of things. Yes, you have to use a couple of things all in combination, and yeah, that's PvP. So sorry, I'm not sharing that one, guys. um,
But yeah,
it can be used. Yes.
basically what he's saying is you don't need 8 of them. You need 8 is not going to. Yeah, you're better off
Say
with
it. 8 is enough. 8 is enough. 8 is enough. You want to say it. I know you
8
want to
is
say
more than enough. But yeah, you're
it.
better off with executioners or something else than this. But let's move on to, unless we have anything, I don't know. So it's 160,000 points for that.
What?
I don't know why, but here's the big change: is even though the special abilities of these armors not that not as great as they used to be, just because the tactical fields and the speed resistances have been nerfed on the defender side. Maybe they'll be increased, and that would be a big thing. Um, but the tier 7 armors for conquerors and defenders have 1,000 armor points. So we've taken that and multiplied by 750. So now we have an armor that's an armor. It's adding armor points to us. So that's the tricky part about this whole thing, because right now I look at this and say, well, it sucks except for all the armor that you're going to get, because you can get your armor on your breachers up to 9.5 million, which might be quite significant at the end of the day.
I'm thinking of a specific hull for these, and it's an old
Okay.
hull.
Okay. So,
Juggernaut. Here I come again.
all right. Well, let's go on to the next one because it's not different. Not that much different. It's
We
the
already had
slow
one of these.
resistance.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's we've
Yeah,
seen
but
these before.
the other one's
Those
only
were
5%, right?
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
yeah, but it also didn't have 750,000 armor.
This is definitely true.
Yeah, yeah, and repair time still 15 minutes. I mean, what do you guys think about using these, even if you don't give a fuck about the ability, just for the armor
Oh,
on
that's the only
tier
thing I'm looking at them
sevens?
for.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Tier
just for
that's
tier
7,
pretty
7.
big.
dude, you got to think of a little bit more than just tier 7.
Well,
There's
yeah, if you want to
this
use tier
is
6, whatever. I'm just trying. I'm trying, because you don't want to talk about PvP. I'm just leaving you to the easy, the easy shit.
I'm just
But
telling you right now,
as far as
Ewok's probably gonna love these fucking armors.
yeah. So it does have a solar panel, which I have no idea why. But yeah,
I thought
uh,
that's where you store your honey.
Yeah.
Like if you get
Wow.
hungry on your
Wow. Yeah. Oh, that sort of honey. Okay.
yeah, that's
I didn't.
your
It's a
I
refrigerated
didn't know
honey
what you meant by
storage
that.
it's
system.
I think it's someone's idea of a Faraday cage. Instead of making it look like a Faraday cage, they made it look like a honeycomb instead to, kind of offset the resistance to stuns and stuff. But yeah, that's anyway. Art department. Yeah. Isn't it such great art? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. David Settle suggested the Jug X, even though the Jug X hasn't really been doubling abilities in a while. Even though I think that's a bit of a ripoff, but yeah. Um, I think we're getting close to the end, aren't we? I hope
I
so.
hope so.
Look
Are
at
we are
that.
we talking about the game itself or
Yeah,
what? Like
well, I
we got to
think
have
that
some
was a
context there.
I was
I
thinking the show.
mean,
I was thinking the
why are
show.
we
Yeah.
here?
Yeah. All right. Tier 7 discount. For some reason, they decided to allow us to refit our conquerors, defenders, and turrets during the period of time where they're most likely not to be able to be refit. Um, and we've got a reduction from 70 or 75% down to 50%. And we lost our tokens.
I don't get my tokens back. I still had some left.
I had millions of tokens
I
left.
want
Yeah,
them
yeah,
reinstated.
yeah. I mean, yeah, file a ticket. But yeah, this is like the wrong time to do it. I mean, it's I don't know why this is happening right now. This is the worst time to do it as far as from the player's perspective because it's like uh all this stuff is going to get damaged. We have a 4-hour bubble. We have 8 to 10-hour repair times on everything as far as your turrets and whatnot. So you can't do shit with this. This is I, does somebody want to come up with an analogy for me? Because so I don't make someone that's not appropriate.
what was that?
Okay.
I totally tuned you out. I didn't.
No, no. What is an analogy for why they're giving us the tier 7 discount during bounty? Um, when
Asininity?
I
No,
was
I'm
looking for
sorry.
an analogy, but yeah, okay,
Analogy. Yeah, I don't know, man.
okay, all
Like,
right.
shit.
It's all good. I was just throwing it out there to see if anybody had one.
It's like getting a discount coupon to an oil change like Jiffy Lube after 2 days after you got the oil change at Jiffy Lube. How's that?
Or after your car got repoed. But yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, yeah, well that works.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I think a lot of people that are going to use the tier 7 discount are not going to be participating in bounty, and we'll just leave it at that. I'm going for an hour, so let's see the next slide. I
Gotta have
think
a
I know what
girl
this
on it.
one is.
Yeah, boo.
Okay, this is Kixeye has provided me with the artwork for Bounty 17. If this ever happens, this was not produced by me, but it's I did find it amusing, and obviously not part of the art team, but it's I will use this if there ever is a Bounty 17, and I'm not willing to bet on a Bounty 17 at this point in time.
Oh. I just want answers. I mean, I'm very dejected right now.
Cheer
Yeah,
up, buddy.
I'm trying to figure out ways to make the shows in the show the way I normally do, but it's hard this week, and it was hard last week and hard the week before, and that's the problem.
Sounds
That's
like you're
called
taking too much
psoriasis.
Viagra.
Yeah, there's a
But
medical term for
I
that.
was
It's
gonna say, it sounds like you
No,
took
no,
too much
no, no,
Viagra,
no, no,
dude.
no, because
If it's been hard for more than
in the
4 hours, you should
first
seek a
raid in the
You need to
doctor.
go
skirmish,
see a doctor.
first raid in the skirmish cycle, I was taking 6 minutes of damage in my base on the top target. The next one, I was taking 12 minutes of damage. And then when it started, the third one, I was taking just under 3 hours. And that was followed up by VXP weekend. This is the first time I have never not ranked up all my ships.
Me
for
too. I actually was trying not to say shit about the shitty VXP weekend, but it is the first time that I've not had my shit ranked at the end of the weekend. That was just it was a joke. And
Yeah,
someone in chat wants to know if that, does that picture really do it for you? I mean, I think they're a little concerned for you.
No. It's just because Kickside provided this. Kickside provided this, and I'm like, if there is a Bounty 17, I am going to use this.
We got to go off the rails at some point, man. I mean, it's the crib show. We did a little bit.
So I put the link out there in case anybody'd like to join the show, and I'm also going to throw this out there in case anybody.
I don't want you throwing anything out there.
Wants to create artwork for Bounty 17. I think maybe we'll have a contest. Kickside versus everybody else. So you can post it on the Battle Pirates crib page, not the Alliance crib page, but the Battle Pirates crib page, or send it to me personally. And we'll see if we get a better Bounty 17. But Bounty, I have found something on the internet for Bounty 1 through 16. 17 is a tough number to find for Bounty from the candy bar, the paper towel, whatever else. So this wasn't created by me. So if anybody wants to,
Lady Cat wants.
Feel free.
Lady Cat wants to know what they win. It depends on the headshots that you send in.
Okay. Okay. What did everybody win from the badge contest from Kickside?
A badge.
Okay. All right. Well, how about I'll mention that you made it. You win that. Okay. Then we're all good.
That works. I gotta go see if I got my badge. I still haven't gotten my collector badge.
I'm assuming I didn't get my badge. I posted the.
That's right. You did that other one.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
Yeah, I guess they didn't watch Seinfeld, and they deleted my badge, and I'd be curious to see if I'm still included. But let's see. The High Lord joined us, and Jordy joined us. You guys have anything to say before we go? To the after show for the evening?
Not too much. I'm just here for the after show because that's where I get a lot of my information. I mean, the show is pretty cut and dry of what's going on, and basically we still don't have answers to the questions that we need, so we're just still waiting for whatever.
I didn't get my damn badge, motherfuckers.
Yeah, you about covered everything I felt and have experienced recently. I'm just waiting for an apathy badge to win.
Ooh, I like that one. Oh, you should have told me that. I would have made one for the damn contest.
Right. Well, if I think we're winding up, I will. We've been going for a while. If anybody would like to join the show, the link's on the right-hand side. And Lady Cat, did you join to be part of the after show or be part of the live show? Okay.
After show.
Okay. All righty.
We can wind down. Then we can wind up.
All right. In case everybody would like to join us for the after show, feel free. So, thanks everybody. We'll see you on Friday. Probably some more information on Bounty. So, thanks everybody. And whatnot. We'll see you on Friday.
Somebody doesn't know how to shut the YouTube off. Who is that?
I'm thinking Ben.
Yeah.
Yep, you got him. You got him before I did. Bastard.
All right. So thanks for showing up. We'll be back on Friday. We'll talk about Bounty and anything else new that we've learned in the last couple of days. And thanks for showing up, everybody.
Yep.
And,
thanks, everybody. Have a good night. Send us some messages and stuff so we get some input.
Yeah.
Send me pictures.
Yeah. Under boob is the way to go. So later, people.
Good night, everybody.